All right, so are you ready to electrify your networking game? We're doing a deep dive today into how to be a power connector.
Okay.
You shared some excerpts from this book, and let me tell you, it is jam-packed with fascinating strategies for building those golden relationships that can really, I think, catapult your career and your life.
Yeah, what I found really interesting about this book is how it takes this whole idea of networking, which can sometimes feel a little icky or forced, and reframes it as building a power grid,
Yeah.
this invisible but totally essential force that fuels success.
I love that analogy. It makes it feel less about schmoozing and more about, well, actual power.
Right.
Like we all know electricity is essential.
Yeah.
And this book argues that connections are just as vital for achieving your goals.
100%. In fact, the author even compares a strong network to having a titanium Rolodex. It's about building a network that's not just big, but also resilient and built to last.
And you know what's really inspiring is that the author of this book actually walks the walk. They went from being a self-proclaimed shy social worker, someone who dreaded speaking up at meetings, to building a network that includes 6 billionaires.
Wait, 6 billionaires.
Yeah,
Okay, now I'm really interested.
that's right.
It's one thing to read about networking tips, but to see someone actually build those kinds of connections is proof that this stuff actually works.
It definitely makes you rethink what's possible,
Yeah.
right? And it highlights the real-world impact a strong network can have,
Yeah.
you know? In fact, the book actually cites a study, I think it was 89%.
Of senior executives at top companies say that strong relationships were critical to their success.
89%. That's a staggering statistic.
It is.
It really drives home the point that this isn't just some fluffy self-help concept. This is a strategic advantage in the business world and, frankly, in life.
Absolutely. And, we often talk about networking with a bit of a groan,
Yeah,
like it's this obligatory chore.
for sure.
But what really resonated with me is how this book reframes networking and emphasizes genuine relationships over transactional interaction.
Yeah.
It's not about collecting business cards.
Yeah.
It's about forging those mutually beneficial bonds.
I felt that shift too. It's less about what can this person do for me and more about how can we help each other thrive.
Yes,
Like that feels so much more authentic and sustainable, don't you think?
absolutely. And that's where I think the book's concept of power circles comes in.
Mm.
It provides a really helpful framework, I think, for thinking about your network more intentionally.
You've piqued my curiosity. Tell me more about these power circles. I'm all ears. So imagine your network as these concentric circles of influence
Okay.
with you right there in the center.
Okay.
That innermost circle, your top 5, comprises those ride or die connections.
Right.
The people you can call on for anything, no questions asked.
100%.
Okay, got it. Those core connections, your
Mm.
inner circle.
Yep.
So who makes up the next ring?
So moving outward,
Right.
you have your key 50. These are those strategic relationships within your field or areas of interest.
Okay.
Mentors, collaborators, thought leaders whose work you admire.
Those connections that can really open doors and offer valuable insights, right?
Exactly. And then finally, you have the outermost circle, your vital 100.
Okay.
And this is your broader network.
Gotcha.
Acquaintances, former colleagues, people you've connected with at conferences or online.
Interesting. So it's not just about having a massive network. It's about understanding the different layers and the unique value that each connection brings.
100%. And here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
The book challenges this common belief that strong ties, those close friends and family, are always the most valuable.
Oh, tell me more about that. I've always kind of assumed that the closer you are to someone, the more likely they are to help you out.
Right. It's counterintuitive.
Yeah.
But the book makes a really compelling case for the power of weak ties.
Yeah.
These are those acquaintances, those people you might not talk to every day, but who offer a different perspective, access to different information and connections to entirely different networks.
Okay, that makes sense. Like your close friends probably run in similar circles as you, but that random acquaintance from that conference a few years back, they might have connections you'd never even think of.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
like that saying, it's not always what you know, but who you know. And sometimes it's who your weak ties know that really opens those unexpected doors.
So how do we cultivate those weak ties? I mean, they're not your inner circle. So striking up those conversations and nurturing those relationships must take a different approach.
That's such a great question. And, the book provides some really practical strategies. And it all starts with recognizing the value these connections hold
Yeah.
and being open to engaging with people outside of your usual circles.
To be open to those chance encounters,
Yeah.
those conversations that might seem random at first.
Yes.
Like that reminds me of the story the author shares about meeting a Hollywood producer at, of all places, a Sundance Film Festival party.
Yes. That story perfectly illustrates the power of those unexpected connections.
Right. It wasn't some elaborate networking scheme. It all started because the author was able to connect a filmmaker with a house for a party.
Right.
Simple act of generosity, huge ripple effect.
Exactly. And it underscores this key principle.
Okay.
You don't need to be a celebrity or a CEO to start building a powerful network.
Right.
Everyone has something valuable to offer. The key is figuring out what that value is and then sharing it generously with the world.
Okay. That's powerful. But it also kind of begs the question, how do we identify that unique value that we bring to the table?
That's a great question, and the book offers a really helpful exercise for this.
Okay.
It's all about taking inventory of your accomplishments, and big or small. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Think about projects you've led, skills you've developed, challenges you've overcome, anything that showcases your abilities and experiences.
So it's like a good old-fashioned brainstorming session.
Yeah.
Getting those accomplishments down on paper or in a digital doc for those of us who love a good note-taking app. I like that it includes challenges, too.
Yeah.
Sometimes those tough experiences teach us the most valuable lessons, right?
Absolutely. Those challenges shape our resilience, and they often lead to unexpected skills and insights that we can then share with others.
Yeah.
And once you have that list of accomplishments, the book encourages you to go a step further.
Okay.
Ask yourself, what skills and knowledge did I gain from each of these experiences?
Oh, I see where you're going with this. So, for example, let's say you spearheaded a website redesign project at work.
Right.
You'd list that under accomplishments, but then you dig deeper.
Yes.
What did you learn from that experience? Project management,
Yeah.
web design, content strategy. You're essentially connecting those achievements to the tangible assets they represent.
Exactly. And by breaking it down like that, you start to uncover all these hidden talents and skills that you might not even realize you possess.
Yeah.
It's like mining for gold in your own backyard.
I love that analogy. It's about unearthing those hidden gems and recognizing their value.
Yes.
But it's not just about skills, is it? There are also those inherent qualities,
Right.
those personality traits that make us unique and valuable.
Absolutely.
You know, things like being a good listener, a natural problem solver, a master organizer, those strengths that come naturally to us.
Absolutely. The book calls these your inherent strength,
Okay.
things you're just naturally good at.
Yeah.
And they're so important in building those strong connections because they often form the foundation of our relationships.
Right. It's those authentic qualities that draw people to us and make them want to connect on a deeper level.
Yes.
But I imagine it can be tough to identify those inherent strengths in ourselves, right? It's like we're so used to them, we don't even realize they're special.
Yeah. You're so right. We often downplay our own strengths thinking, oh, everyone can do that.
Yeah.
When in reality, those are the things that make us stand out.
Yeah.
That's why the book really emphasizes seeking feedback from others.
Yeah. Okay.
Ask your friends, colleagues, mentors, those people you trust, what they see as your greatest strengths.
Yeah.
You might be surprised by what they say.
That's a great tip. Because, let's face it, sometimes we need that outside perspective to help us see those blind spots and fully own our awesomeness.
Right.
So we've got our list of skills and accomplishments. We've tapped into our inherent strengths.
Yeah.
What's next on this journey of unlocking our network superpower?
Well, now that we have a solid understanding of what we bring to the table, it's time to start looking for those same qualities in others. And the book outlines 10 specific character traits that are common among these successful connectors.
10 traits. Okay, give me the top 3.
Okay.
The power players of connection building.
All right. So first and foremost, authenticity.
Okay.
These super connectors are genuine, transparent, and real in their interactions.
Right.
They show up as their true selves, which makes them instantly relatable and trustworthy.
Right, because who wants to connect with someone who feels fake or disingenuous?
Exactly.
Authenticity is magnetic.
It is.
Okay, what's number 2 on the hit list?
Trustworthiness. Building relationships on a foundation of mutual respect, integrity, and follow-through.
Makes sense. You need to know you can rely on the people in your network, that they're there for you when it counts.
Yes.
Okay, final power trait. Lay it on me.
This one is all about being other-centered. The book emphasizes being genuinely interested in others' stories, asking thoughtful questions, and actively listening to their responses.
It's about shifting the focus from me to we. Recognizing that building a strong network is about creating those mutually beneficial relationships, not just collecting contacts.
Precisely. And the beauty of it is that by approaching connections with that spirit of generosity and curiosity,
Yeah.
you naturally attract people who embody those same qualities.
That's awesome.
It's like building a tribe of like-minded individuals who lift each other up and celebrate each other's successes.
Okay, I'm loving this vision of a supportive, collaborative network. It's not just about climbing the ladder of success, it's about bringing others along with you.
Exactly. And that's where the book's concept of power connectors comes in. These are the individuals who not only build strong networks for themselves, but they also act as facilitators,
Okay.
connecting the dots for others and fostering a spirit of collaboration and mutual support.
I love that. So we're not just building our own power circles, but also becoming those bridges, those connectors who help others expand their networks and create those win-win scenarios.
Exactly. And the book provides some really actionable strategies for maximizing every interaction,
Okay.
starting with a concept they call creating intrigue.
Creating intrigue. Okay, now you've got my full attention. Tell me more. Creating intrigue. It sounds so mysterious. I'm hooked already. Tell me, how do we do that? How do we create that I need to know more vibe without seeming like we're trying too hard?
Right, it has to be genuine. The book suggests that instead of trying to impress everyone with your own accomplishments, focus on asking great questions. Questions that spark genuine curiosity and reveal those hidden passions and dreams that make people tick.
I love that. It's about turning the spotlight outward, showing genuine interest in the other person. And I bet that leads to much more engaging, memorable conversations than just rattling off your resume, right?
Absolutely. It's about making the other person feel seen and heard, which instantly deepens the connection. And the book takes this a step further
Okay.
by introducing what they call these 3 golden questions. Specific questions designed to unlock hidden connections and opportunities at the end of any interaction.
Okay, stop holding out on me. What are these magic questions? I need to add them to my networking toolkit, ASAP.
Okay, so the first one is pure gold. Who are 3 people I should know?
Okay.
This question is brilliant because it taps directly into their network, uncovering potential connections you might have otherwise missed.
It's like a shortcut to expanding your power circles. I love how simple yet strategic it is. Okay, what's golden question number 2?
The second one is all about uncovering passions and aligning interests.
Okay.
Ask them, what are you most excited about right now?
I see what you mean about uncovering passions. It goes beyond the surface level and reveals what truly lights them up. It's about finding that common ground, that spark of connection that can ignite a deeper relationship. Okay, drum roll, please. What's the final golden question?
This one is all about offering support and positioning yourself as a valuable resource.
Okay.
What's the biggest challenge you're facing right now?
Ooh, that's a powerful one. It shows you're not just there to talk about yourself, you're genuinely interested in understanding and potentially helping them overcome obstacles. Talk about creating a memorable impression.
Exactly. And the book emphasizes that adding value doesn't have to be some grand gesture.
Right.
It can be as simple as sharing a relevant article,
Right.
connecting them with someone in your network, or even just offering a word of encouragement.
It's those consistent small acts of service.
Yes.
Those genuine gestures of support that really solidify a connection, right? It shows you're not just there to take, you're there to give.
Exactly. And, as we've been diving deep into these strategies, I keep thinking about this crucial point the book makes about ecosystems.
Okay.
It's not just about connecting with individuals,
Right.
but also about finding those communities where your ideal connections already gather.
Oh, that's so smart. It's about being strategic with your time and energy.
Yes.
Instead of trying to be everywhere at once, you focus on the places where you're most likely to find those high-value connections.
Exactly. It's about maximizing your networking ROI.
Okay.
And the book offers some great advice on identifying the right groups for you.
Okay.
It suggests looking for organizations aligned with your professional goals, industry interests, and even your personal passions.
So, for example, if you're a tech entrepreneur, you might join a local startup incubator or a professional organization like the Women Tech Council.
Right.
But if your passion is sustainable living, you might join a community garden or volunteer with an environmental organization.
Exactly. It's about finding those spaces where your interests intersect with those of like-minded individuals.
And I imagine those groups can be incredible resources for not only expanding your network, but also for gaining valuable knowledge, insights, and even potential collaborations.
Absolutely. And that ties back to what we were saying earlier about mutual benefit.
Right.
These groups provide a platform to not only connect with others, but also to share your own expertise, insights, and resources. It's a beautiful cycle of giving and receiving.
It's like a network-powered engine for growth and innovation. I love it. As we start to wrap up this deep dive into how to be a power connector, I'm curious, what's the one key takeaway that's really resonating with you?
For me, it's that reminder that everyone, and I mean everyone, has something unique and valuable to offer.
Yeah.
It's so easy to get caught up in comparing ourselves to others, focusing on our perceived shortcomings
Right.
and thinking, I'm not successful enough, or I don't have the right connections.
It's that inner critic, right?
Yes.
That voice that tells us we're not good enough, smart enough, connected enough.
Yes. And this book is like an antidote to that negative self-talk.
Yeah.
It reminds us that our individual experiences, our skills, our knowledge, even our challenges, all contribute to our unique value proposition.
It's about embracing our authentic selves, quirks and all,
Yes.
and recognizing that those are the very things that make us interesting, relatable, and valuable connections.
Exactly. And when we approach networking from that place of self-acceptance and generosity,
Yeah.
we create the space for those authentic, mutually beneficial connections to blossom.
So to all our listeners out there, here's your call to action. Embrace your unique brilliance. Dust off those Rolodexes or create a digital one. And start building those power circles. You never know what amazing opportunities might be just a connection away.
And remember, the power of connection is limitless. So go out there, be authentically you, and watch your world expand in ways you never thought possible.